positive start for the man, and if it continues along that route, then we might start to entertain that conversation a bit more in the future. For now, just focusing up towards our second map of Nuke here. Obviously, Looking4Org were able to build back into a comeback at the tail end of that first map up. I'd imagine they're going to be on the CT start of things here for their opponent's map pick. So is there going to be a case that we need to see a little bit more from the first half from them?
No, I would say the second half, like without a doubt. I think, yeah, we can sit here and say they can claw a monster lead, but I think Looking4Org have to show us more ability on the T side, and not just Nuke on every map. They've had some weakened T sides over the course of this first map and that previous best of 3 yesterday. They have to prove that their T side's here to play.
Well, let's put my theory to the test. Let's see whether Looking4Org can really come into their own in the late portions of the series. It's the second map, the pick of 9. Jocko USP stands to attention with a crispy shot to the head of Kai and Goofy. Both players going down. Lucky coming in to try pick up the pieces with backup, dropping Jedka to 12, dropping Hades out of the server. And it's a 4v2 that Looking4Org should capitalize upon.
Yeah, just ramp players everywhere. Haji can take a little bit of a contact, but you want to draw them in. You want to get those T-side players out to ramp and into the crossfire.
Kyla to 45, Jedka to 3. And a backstab from 1 CT that could easily close in the pincers of Maka. Haji holding the directive cross. Kyla continuing to get tagged up and now taken down. Kyla, all that remains, 1-on-4. Pincers closing in upon him. Haji continues to take his fight and ultimately will get his 2K. That's a sod pistol for Looking4Org.
And when you actually look at the numbers as well, for especially the individual players on Looking4Org, it is mental, some of the ratings that we see from these guys since CS2 has come out on Nuke. Haji averages a 1.41 rating and Lucky a 1.28. So I'm looking at those two guys in particular. I think we saw quite a bit from them in the series yesterday. We all obviously saw what Haji was able to do on that pistol round out towards ramp. So between Haji and Lucky, I think we're going to get a good performance from those two.
Nine should set this eco in a standard. Pistols across the entire board. Blocks placed into the M4s and the SMG, which to get a little bit of cash out for exercise, diving in for the second player. Ooh, can't quite catch the bomb carrier, who tried to get in through the Benson, couldn't quite hit the dive. So no bomb plant bonus for 9. That would have been the best they could have hoped for in this kind of a round. They're just a lost bonus to build into the third round bye.
Now, we did see the Nuke pick coming through in that game against Sinners. We obviously spoke about the fact that Nuke got played against OneWin and against Sinners, but the game against Sinners was a map pick, and of course, 9 are going to start on that T side. They managed 6 rounds. I would say fairly competitive in that game yesterday. I would say 6 and plus would be a target. If you were able to do that yesterday against the Czechs, you've got to be looking at a similar ballpark here today.
Standard utility sets to try and flush CTs away from the forward face. And nades to open up the squeak door. Outside control from Lucky. Very little suppression to the T side, but they have got some presence out here. Jocker's also going to come up from Secret and try to provide support.
Jedka might have to be the contact man out here from top main. The player down from Secret. I mean, Jocko just has to catch the right timing.
Jedka is going to get forced off by that incendiary. Teams will need to make a move in. They've got some time to play with. The smokes are coming back, though. Those nades catching even more damage on Jedka. Not quite the kills yet. The Molotovs will force CTs back and forward. Jocko sticks around to try to get a couple of kills. Good for the first and almost gets Jedka, but he's down to 25 HP.
Surely they don't expect double Secret. Who expects double Secret?
Oh, apparently Hades does. Yeah, this crosshair train. He doubles up on Haji as well through the smoke. Lucky can take back the trade, and they are very tagged on the 9 side. Goofy, lesser so, but Jedka on 1 point of health, and now Kyla sneaking past exercise. Is this bad info?
Oh, it has to be bad info. He's just come into the lobby and seen nothing, which tells them, okay, it's probably either a ramp walk or an outside lean. And instead, it's actually an upper take, and he could fall here to the players outside coming into ramp. I think they're pretty set on it being a lower play right now.
Exercise walks right into Kyla. And with that kill, it has to be a call to bring that bomb into the A site. Patience the virtue for 9, who will gain their first round, surely.
And you got to feel there for Exercise. It's a 2v3. You're in a man disadvantage. You know that they were heavy outside. You have to make a play there. You have to try and gather information. You come in on door, And let's just consider that play for a moment. Let's just say it's half a second earlier. He catches the lobby player, it's a 2v2, Lucky gets involved in the action, it's a different round. And I think that's definitely something we saw on map 1, right, was those slight errors or those slight misjudgments or just slight timings in general were costing Looking4Org quite a few rounds.
And costing this round here and now. First on the board of 9. Not going to allow the opposing force to get the streaks that they were getting over on Ancient. Looking4Org on the front foot early, but not by a massive margin. M4 held in, and money is pretty good, so we're seeing some weapons tossed around and a buy come through.
Looking4Org, yeah, you also need to look at the perspective that they had 2 losses in 15 games. I mean, that's a crazy record in best of 3s. Only losing to CIS teams of Spirit and 1 win. They've got to think to themselves, there's no way we're going out 0-2. There's no way that we're dropping this series. 9. Yeah, they'll stay their way started off with that first, but even a change-up, it seemed like Lucky and Maka wanted to double press aggressively outside. Maka's playing a little bit of an off angle on top of Credit.
Lucky prodding into the squeak door position, just bursting through with that open door, trying to catch off guys like Kyler. Unable to really catch the man, though, for much more than just a little bit of tickle damage. Exercise a bit closer, we'll try to check the vents, but nobody's dived down there.
Now, one thing that I've noticed a lot more in CS2, Jay, is re-smoking door control from a CT perspective is a little bit more difficult now because of the geometrics of the smoke itself. Oftentimes, a bad smoke towards door can open up a vent dive opportunity for the T side.
Or Maka through the smoke is going to catch off Kai. Information to gain. Maka continuing to spray through against Jedkin next. Lucky trying to provide a little bit of extra support. I think they just spotted the man making his way in towards Garage, so he might end up getting hunted here. Meanwhile, 3 players of 9 in at Squeaky Corridor, going to walk their way without utility support into the A-bomb site. Hadji is going to provide some resistance. He's also got backup up at Heaven. 2 players out in the open. Those footsteps should be heard. Kyler is going to get caught. Second player adjusted towards, but running out of ammo. Goofy and Hades can get the trades back and try and maintain their position. But as Jedka falls, the advantage stays with Looking4Org. Goofy's caught off guard, and Hades is all alone.
And that's a massive kill from Lucky outside. That was the difference maker. That could have been the winning element there from 9 in the round. Hades at least sees that first player, but up there towards Mustang, he gets one, but Lucky swings on the trade. A multi-frag coming through from him, and you even look at that pause from Hadji towards the defensive angle on A, wastes a lot of time, is able to relocate ever so slightly, get that first kill. I mean, even Jocko, he runs through the molly. That gets mollied up there at Heaven, but he wants to deny, he wants to keep the pressure on.
And that pressure led to success. Looking4Org back on the board against 9. And pistols to come out from the T side due to the nature of their economy state. Outside control, going to be a major set of emphasis for both teams. Lucky ahead of Red. 4 players at the T side ahead of that smoke. Line sprays from Mac are going to try to draw their attention away from Lucky's position. He doesn't see anything just yet. Will Kai read him? The flashes, the smoke goes back and forth from both teams. The initial smoke's going to clear. Lucky going to get given 2 kills for it. Maka, similar story, and they are ripped apart.
And 9 just getting absolutely owned right now. Even that shotgun being upgraded to an AK. And now for 9, do you start worrying about was Nuke the right pick? Again, when we looked at the veto, when you looked at the paper, Overpass was the obvious choice. Overpass was the go-to. It's the map that's been played the most for them and picked the most in CS2 in best of 3 history. Nuke is one of those maps that doesn't often get picked. Yes, it got picked yesterday, and it was a matchup that was successful. And those sort of thoughts are going to be coming into your mind, especially when you're 1-4 down and potentially 1-5 down.
Well, as this one goes on, we'll start to get a bit more of an answer, hopefully, as to why they picked into it. But right now, the answer's not obvious at all. Looking4Org. 4 AKs on this CT side to work with. Just the Deagles out for 9, looking some headshots. So far, none presenting themselves.
Lucky and Maka have been the dynamic duo on the outside. And this time around, they've got Exercise that can swing on the contact if anyone comes out from door. Nine are just hoping to try and make this expensive. Try and take at least one of these AKs away.
And that firepower can be very important in rifle rounds. Using the anti-eco. Lucky is successful with the first pick. Needs to tag from Goofy. Can't land the headshot. Can't land the backup either. Kyler does get one of Jocko. Nice that they can also get that AK back in the hands of Exercise, still rocking that M4. Hadju's going to get the kills first though. Jedka down. Kai no. Kai swings. The engagement not quite found. Kai can get another one. So some damage is coming through. They'll lose at least one of these AKs. Then they get one back. It seems like they will do. Maka with a pick. Exercise will indeed upgrade, and it's 5-1 now for Looking4Org.
Well, at least the no-kill streak is over there from Kai, but you think that even that one kill didn't make a difference on the round. Yes, it gets him up to 1, and it makes it a little bit more expensive. We want to see more from him. He was a pivotal player out there on map number 1, and he's always been a pivotal rifler for this team. You look at the T side, you look at that rifle pack, your Kyler, your Goofy, and your Kai, and think, right, these are difference-maker players. They have to find that consistency between the three of them.
9. AWP of Maka pressing forward first and foremost. Those HGs pushing out a little bit of damage. Makazin looks for the swing, can't land the flick. Kyler protected by the harder cover of the door frame. Gets away relatively unscathed. He's still looking for the wall bangs though, and they're just not connecting.
Maka might just have to keep fighting here because he's going to have to be worried about outside. He's going to get smoked off eventually and try and spam up towards top main. Exercise is going to have to help him out here.
Well aware of that orb position. Jedka not getting shot down by it. That AK in secret. Gonna get flashed up by Jocko. Lucky looking in. He's looking up. Kai's gonna get caught. Head's been seen. He taps him up. Jedka down. Hades trying to get some trades together. Needs two of them to bring it back to evens. Unawares of the play with Mini. And Exercise still loses the fight. Finally, Hades is worn down here, but he's still looking to engage.
Hey, got to worry about where those other T-side players are. Jocko eventually catches him repositioning, and there's a walk. There's a timing out here towards ramp, and Jocko just might see it.
Goofy walking in. Jocko turns away at the wrong moment, back out to the held position and up in heaven. B-site is protected by Lucky's AK from the vents shore. He'll be the first port of call. 9 are on their way.
Now, he's got max nades too, so as soon as he hears that bomb going down, he can try and get an incendiary off, even try and smoke off ramp if he likes.
20 seconds. Secondary smoke down as well, so they should be aware that both players are here. The footsteps should definitely give it away. One man on rotate is Maka. So wary of that double doors position. The nades are set to do very little damage. Jocko's caught very aggressive. Goofy with that pick. The smoke starts to clear. Goofy's got another. Lucky can't land the headshot either. The incendiary, is that going to burn him down or just force him back into harder cover? Indeed, he will be back at dark here.
Now, Lucky's got to try and see if he can deal with that other player. He knows that he's repositioned out towards dark, but what about the other?
Doors open. Kyler unknown. Goofy caught off. Transfer back. Not even going to connect to Kyler. Not even going to look his direction. 9 will secure 2.
Yeah, that was poor there from Jocko, and I think he knows himself that he was in the wrong. That's a 3v2 on a retake, and your teammate out there towards observation window is smoked off. They had a smoke both towards the windows and the doors. There could have been a little bit of miscoms, but you look at that from Jocko. He's literally just walked out by himself to the right-hand side of ramp. He's got no protection in there from obs. He's got no protection from his teammate, and Maka's still coming down from ramp. That was a round that should have been a retake, should have been a successful one. That's a gift there from 9.
They realize that it's just one. Last round that they won was not connected in succession, so a tactical timeout comes in to discuss the forward plans. Because they must know that Looking4Org are going to have a bye here, and it's going to feature the AWP of Maka.
Yeah, we've seen Maka have some impactful moments over the course of yesterday's best of 3 and this best of 3. It might not always be the star individual, it might not always post the largest of numbers, but we know what he can be like in multi-frag sequences and just getting picks here and there. 9 have got to try and protect as much of this sort of round difference as possible in the first half.
Early smokes will come out towards the outside diagonals in play. But no major walk up from 9, at least not yet. Lucky is going to try and hold the angle. His teammate rotates in. Back up from secret, it will be Jocko.
Hey, you've got to remember the backup's a little bit more passive this time. We've seen Looking4Org really enjoy getting lucky into almost what I would say is a high tempo position on the railing up there from Secret. This time around, it's almost like they're tempting Nine to try and take Secret control.
Got a minute to play with. CTs, look at the close engagement. They could come on towards the outside position. The spams, the AUGs. Hadji will drop to the hands of Kai. Make their way in with that pick. Meanwhile, the T's are going to start walking their way into the upper bomb site. Exercise playing towards that hut position. Unawares of how close they might end up being, as Crosshair was nowhere near where he needed to be. Lucky will get one trade on outside, but it's still a 4v3 for 9.
That just feels like the perfect round there from 9. The fact that you're able to get a good kill outside and then you walk door, you feel there for Exercise, because a lot of the time if it is a top site hit, you maybe smoke off main, you maybe molly default, you maybe have a flash through the skylights, but because it's so dry and it's so silent heavy, you don't have that info. You're playing Tetris, you're maybe hoping to see some utility coming through from Hut, but nothing comes. He turns around on a swivel, gets caught in a timing, and there's just mass players out there in door. That's a very good round from 9. That's most certainly the best round we've seen for them on T-side yet.
Looking4Org making the right call here as well, holding onto these guns because they've got no savings and no loss bonus either. Orb, M4 and AUG will be something to at least have into this next one. Buy potential from the other players, not all that great, so you won't be seeing any further rifles to join them. 9 will stack up 3.
It's going to be a very intriguing call here. I mean, obviously, the safer option is just to not buy anything and to use this almost as an eco round to try and get as much out of the 3 riflers as possible. I think a buy down here would be too risky, especially 5-3 up on the city side.
It seems to be the call here. A stop call, specifically. Further issues plaguing the Looking4Org side. So now I have a chance to rethink the idea of a buy-up at this particular juncture. But I think you are right. I think the call to make here is just not to bother with the investment, because you will have rifles in the next if you keep your float at 1900 at minimum.
I mean, the issue is, if you do save and everyone drops, you won't get the AWP next round. Like, that's going to have to be something that's in the back of their mind, is that could we go with a rifle investment next without the AWP? Is that something that we want? So this is a tough call to make, and this takes some guts if you do go for the buy down, because it is high risk.
Well, I mean, you did say, obviously, that the AWP has been a little bit less emphasized in CS2. So yep. I wonder whether or not the situation is going to be, whether or not, if even are thinking about that as much as you would do in something like CSGO, for instance, right? And, you know, he's not like Maka is the top fragger of the board right now. It goes towards some of the riflers who are having some decent impact of their own right. So I do wonder at that. Maybe Maka just plays a bit more passively in this round. Maybe he tries to protect the AWP from much more a covered-off angle.
Well, I think if anyone follows Looking4Org, you'll know that Maka is a much passive AWPer than the majority of them out there in Tier 2. He's a little bit more of like an anchor player. You'll see him on Ancient, play A anchor. You'll probably see him even holding Nuke, or Ramp, I should say, on Nuke a couple of times. So, again, a much more passive AWPer. Never tries to get that AWP into some high-impact zones and super aggressively.
We'll find out exactly how far they're going to go with this particular round. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take it to a very short break. We're facing some technical issues, but when we come back, we'll roll on with the rest of... Okay, never mind. We are being informed that we're about to get back in... Yeah, there you go, Tleg. See, someone behind the scenes has pressed the start button, so it seems like we're actually going to be getting into this one a little bit more quickly. Obviously, still facing those tech issues. But regardless, like, obviously, you are right about the situation at hand. I am a bit more enthusiastic about the fact that, that they would consider a buyback in the next round, even if they lost that AWP personally.
Yeah, and again, I think for 9, you've just come off of the back of winning a very good round, and you've come 2 in a row. So now they can kind of look at this T side as this is building opportunity for us. Whether they buy or not, we should still be able to win the round. At least that's going to be the mindset for their sake. They've got 3 saved in weapons. They can go very harshly and save. They can go very risky and buy up all the way. For 9, I think this is the best opportunity they've had in at least this map of Nuke to start skyrocketing rounds on T-side, to start getting a really healthy streak together and causing themselves to be a threat on their map pick.
Well, as you said, that last rifle round win that they took was one of the most confident we've seen from Nine in the entire series so far. They look so proficient with the way that they handle themselves around that T side of things that yeah, you can expect that things might start to pick up from here. You got those 5 rounds on the part of Looking for Org, and now the T's can certainly pick things up, right? That feels like to me that Nine have found their rhythm at this particular stage. So I don't think the challenges are over for the Frenchmen just yet.
I think the challenges are going to rely on the economy. I think that's going to be a hefty price tag for these last, what, 4 rounds and a half of who's going to get reset first. Who's going to be in a position where economies are being collapsed, that we're down to ecos and we're down to half buys and we're down to the non-sort of quote-unquote rifle round consistently. I think the economy game is going to be key for both of these teams.
Well, we'll find out exactly where the economy is going to be for. Again, they have an opportunity to rethink their strategy if they wanted to force a round and get those rifles back in on the 2 players or whatever they can get on those last 2 players that did go down. So we'll find out shortly whether or not that's going to end up being the case. As you mentioned before, however, it probably would be the smarter call. So let's find out exactly what they're going to take. And they will go for an extra 5-7 on exercise. I think dropped off by one of the players that had them. Yeah, Jocko down to 1,500 there. So a slight increase on his own part. I'm not sure whether that would really be worth it, though.
Let's just try and see how much they can find out of it. Kyler walking through the door smoke. Well, Hadji should be a freebie at least.
Unless his back is turned, and the USP is going to get credited with a kill, so there you go. There's your starting advantage. Smoke's in the way, so you can grab an AK and try and put some more fire down range and support the defensive on the site itself. Jedka is hunting for Lucky, but he can't see him yet.
Now, even without armor, that AK could be lethal. And Jedka and Kai to try and work on the outside. Lucky's hoping for a drop down, hoping for a cross to come down, playing super defensively and deep out from Garage. There's another kill.
Looking for another one as well to follow it up. Kai down, and Looking for Org play this one to absolute perfection, punishing a small mistakes and taking every angle they can, taking every player they see. They won't get away with all 5 alive, but that AWP should stay in regardless. That is a hell of a steal for Looking for Org.
And you have to question the call there from Nine. Yes, okay, Kyler gets a pretty good timing. He's able to get outdoor undetected. Is that the right call to make on what is either a force buy or a half buy with a saved in 3 rifles for a solo lurk to try and work outdoor himself? For Hadji, he catches a good timing. He gets that first kill, and you could just feel that that one starter in the round for the French, it changed the complexion entirely.
Their economy woes have recovered for the time being for it. Only 1 AK got saved. And 9 can only buy back 2 Galils and a Tech 9 to support the rest of the investment. Utility set and ready to go for what seemed to be a very fast upper take.
Yeah, Exercise just jiggling. As soon as he sees a flash, as soon as he sees contact, that incendiary is going down.
Here comes the flash. Incendiary, a Molotov comes out from the T-side line. Exercise are going to stop them, and they will be forced to cancel for the time being. Will they pick it up as those flames clear? There's counter smokes also inbound. The blind sprays from both sides do damage, but Kyler is the man credited with the kill.
You look at this for 9 and think, okay, you've brute forced that first one. What's next? Is it to go back towards outside? Is it to double pump the top side to take ramp? Whatever their option is, it's going to be dry, because look at the util. A single molly, a single flash, and a smoke. That is it.
AUG just set AWP for Maka. And try and lean towards outside, try and hunt for the players that might be there if possible. Time is of the essence for 9.
Triple A as well. This is such a trap if they can hit upper.
Molly out for Lucky. He stands in the flames and stands his ground to get 2 kills and bring it in to a 3-on-3. The AWP of Maka next up to task. He's got backup up in heaven, but that could be negated by Hades on a long enough timescale. Again, the concern is going to be that timer. Goofy, known, 15 seconds. Hades closing in ever so slowly. No one is considering this. Finally, Jocko looks back there, but Hades still wins the fight, as does Goofy, as does Jedka. With 8 seconds to spare, 9 take a 4th.
You could feel like the gates were just about to open, that they were so ready to pounce. But you're right, you have to slow that round down. And my goodness, if you're 9 right there, those nerves are kicking in. When you see the clock get down to 8, 7, 6 seconds, there is not a lot of time to act, but enough time to make that play happen. Jocko even watches for that wraparound in from heaven, but still gets caught off guard from it. And as soon as Hades gets that kill, it's just everyone collapses. Everyone panics. There's comms flying everywhere. There's players looking everywhere. And that's when 9 could just overwhelm A completely.
First tactical for Looking4Org in this map up. One away from winning the half, and that really should have been theirs for the taking, right? That down to the last few seconds of the round, and they just didn't account for that backstab, and then as soon as it came forward, their chance to secure 7 has gone out the window.
That's what we spoke about at the beginning of Nuke, and what we saw in the last map. There are so many rounds of literal fine moments. A few seconds on the clock, 1 kill. It's making huge differences.
Huge differences in the economy as much as the scoreboard here. Both teams were hurting for cash. Now Looking4Org going to suffer with the weakened buy. The M4's out on 3. They're going to swing out aggressive and try and take some engagements out towards the outside. Hades good against Lucky. Maka only good for 1. Goofy's there for the responsive, and Haji should be a known entity here. The SMG's coming in to support, but it's far too late. It's just Exercise and Jocko on MP9s versus 4 of 9.
A very uncharacteristic round there for Looking4Org, but they have to do so, because look at the buy. You're down to 2 SMGs, a few rifles. You want to try and keep it a little bit high tempo. They go for a super aggressive outside work, and to be honest, it is unsuccessful. 3 players dropping for just Jedka to die, it's not enough. And for Exercise and Jocko, you can double play up towards A, you can try a bit of a gamble stack, but there should be no way this round is possible for them.
Less than a minute. 9 know that they can just walk their way into the bomb site. They're going to put a smoke up towards the moon. Sure that Jocko doesn't get anything out of this. He's still going to make his way forward, run and gun his way into victory and get very little out of it. Exercise also the known entity with that blind fire through the smoke. 34 points of health to win something. It's just not going to happen. The plant will be secured. And 9 will get to 5.
I mean, surely we get a tied scoreline here at the half, right? I mean, the idea of what the money state is for Looking4Org, they're going to be down to what? An SMG of an MP9, maybe at best. 5-7 armor and a bit of util. You're working with scraps.
Be the first 6 apiece score that I've ever casted in CS2, so...
Oh, why have you said that? Why have you said that? There's going to be a lobby crunch. Haji's getting 3. It's a done deal.
Caster's curse is not real. What are you talking about, Dwight?
Well, it won't be a lobby crunch. Lucky's very late to get out of spawn, but it could be a late pressing from lobby towards Ram.
No, they're going to stand the defensive. Downstairs into the B bomb site for Haji and Lucky instead. Exercise. They work with Maka on the outside. They've been smoked off of the diagonals again. Revealing themselves in a small capacity. That nade will not do much there for Jedka. There's a man working around the outside controlling Kai that might walk into the hands of Haji. SMG versus AK. But close quarters combat for the CT player, and he's going to catch that kill.
Yeah, Haji's got to be wary about that second player. Clear it out and then get over to the AK. Haji again with these opening picks. It feels like there's been so many rounds in this first half in which he's the one getting 5v4s.
Grab that AK up into the heaven control and try and provide support to the upper bomb site. Lucky's going to remain downstairs. Look at Jocko. He has pressed in a little bit late, but the shots have missed out. He still gets Hades in the head. And now the CT start to converge upon the upper bomb site. Goofy and Jedka get those trades. Exercise is unknown, but Haji is. He's knowing where Kyla is. Jedka with the responsive, a 2 versus 2. With the last 2 CTs being on 5-7s. 1 on Maka. That has struck. Goofy's going to get the bomb down here on the B bomb site. Fend off the 2 recovered AKs of the CT forces. 1 of Exercise down at Decon. Maka inbound from Ram. Coming in real quick, sees the head of the man, but Goofy's heard the footsteps. He can adjust back at Old Toxic with some harder cover. And Maka on to try and take the steal away for Looking4Org. Checks his corner, sprays awkward, but it is good for the kill and good for the round. We do not get our 6 apiece. It's 7-5 instead for Looking4Org, up on the front foot for once. Will it remain on the T side? We'll find out after the break. Well, for once, Looking for Org are on the front foot, but the question is, will it remain that way? Dwayne, have 9 done enough on their T side to carry forward here on Nuke?
We saw 5 rounds against 1 win on the T side and 6 against Sinners, and both times they took Nuke comfortably. So I want to say, yes, it is enough, but now they have to prove it.
CT side to settle for the 9 camp in the pistol round. They got the Julies on the defense. Got Glocks out for Alpha O, ready to make their way into the upper bomb site, it looks like. There's smokes coming down. I think one of them might have missed there. HG's on position. And an engagement from the Julies that does take down Jocko. Hadji with a responsive. Kyler up in the rafters alongside Kai, who's going to get gooshed down and finally dealt with. He takes 1 player with him. Kyler up top, dealt with as 2 more kills come in for the T-side forces. It leaves Jedka alone in the 1-on-3.
Now, while it looked like initially a pretty strong defensive there from 9 with the trading game, it's a collapse. And now Jedka, the ramp player, has to try and come in with the 1v3. Player on default, players out towards main. There's players everywhere.
He's a very known entity. Peeks into 2 of them. Maka credited with the closer. A triple in for him. And an 8th for Looking for Org.
And now 9 have to make a tough decision. Force buy or not. Obviously, we see less force buys now in the MR12, but you are down 5-8, and you've got to consider the likelihood that 9 have of trying to recover the opening rifle rounds, because think about it this way. If you give away an eco and you lose the opening rifle round of this second half, that actually could just be enough for Looking for Org to start pummeling rounds up and closing out this to a 3rd map.
We've got our USPs and P250s and a Deagle out for 9 in this eco round, a much harsher one than any force buy could justify.
A couple of Zeus's as well for Kyler, Goofy, and Jedka.
Oh, yeah, they're hiding behind the money line. Playing sneaky, because that's how you need to play with a Zeus to their credit, so. See whether or not they can get close towards the T side to grab any of those guns. We've got Kai back here as the man over at the garage position. No T's to face him. They're down in secret instead.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
Not a lot of noise being given away. And the last thing that Looking for Org want to run into is some sort of trap of a setup of 5 CTs to all be around the corner to swing on a contact. So the more map control they can take away, the easier it is to understand where it's open and where we can end.
Just checking all their positions for CTs that might be hiding. They don't know where a stack could be. As soon as they make their way into the B-bomb site, it'll be a free and open plant. And very little standing in their way. 9 might try and Hail Mary it and get these pistols into position to try to take some rifles out of the hands of the T side. Lucky and Hadji are there to deal with the first couple of contacts. The SMG might get caught off by Goofy. Indeed it is. It's not a major loss here for Looking for Org. And does go down to exercise anyway. So Jedka and Hades, last 2 players. Found 1 on Hadji. And the Deagle can't quite get the exit either.
4 more to go now for Looking for Org, and you can just feel that they're hungry to close this out. They're hungry to send it to a 3rd map, to get out towards that Anubis, and really rock the house like they did against Monty. I mean, that performance that we saw from them on Anubis, it almost made Monty look like fools. It looked like they had no idea what to do to counter it, that they were just completely all over them. They're in a good position right now. There's no denying that whatsoever. You look at even the opening rifle round of this second half, and it's going to feature 4 M4s and a single MP9 for Kyler.
Yeah, L4O going to get through the rest of Nuke before they can think about Anubis yet. 4 in the lead, 4 to the win. Rifles will come back in for the 9 camp though, and look at Goofy. Look at how aggressive he's going to get for it. Didn't quite see anyone ahead of that nade. Didn't get seen either. So we'll hold this aggressive angle only for a moment though.
Now, that breakage of smoke was so close to a contact between Lucky and Goofy. And in the end, he waits it out. He re-smokes off towards the door. Does not go in for a jiggle before it blooms. And Kyler, good position to play that MP9. Play it top hub, play it somewhere close range to defend against the A-pop. Minute on the clock, and we still haven't seen much of a contact from either squad.
Going to be ticking by a little bit closer before Looking for Org can really act. They have a habit of running this timer low. We've seen that plenty of times over the course of this series and the last. 45 seconds now. Jocko and Hadji trying to take point inside a heart, waiting for the utility to come in from the roof, and one out sweep door onto the mini control. Counter incendiaries are there for the CT forces, but unable to use them in time. Kyler caught, Goofy down. 3 left standing for 9. They're shut out of the A-bomb site.
Fantastic entries there coming through from Jocko, and very good utility support. You could just feel that the flashes were just so on point to allow him to get 2. Kai gets spammed up in the process, and I mean, look, this is getting closer to a done deal now. That opening rifle round was pivotal. It was absolute survival right there from 9. And not only have they lost the round, but they're only saving 2. They're not even saving 3 in the entire round itself.
Well, I did ask the question whether 9 had done enough on the T side. You implied that you thought that they might have done, and Looking4Org have other things to say about that. Might even go hunting as well. Had you seen the man? He knows that Hades is out there. He's calling in for backup. Can they get him? Can they get Jedka? Hades standing to fight, going down to the AK. One more M4. This would be disastrous for the economy state. Jedka takes plenty of names with him. But Looking4Org get away with the 10th round, and they've got cash to spare.
No, they really do. And this is going to have to be the comeback of all comebacks for 9. I mean, 5-10 down. If you save 3, you had the opportunity of buying around it. If you save 2, you had the opportunity of buying half and still having a somewhat decent buy. Now you've got nothing. So even the eco is going to be limited. And we've got to be looking at an 11-5 kind of scoreline. And at that point, the mistakes that you can offer are so minimal, because if almost any of them come through, that's just going to be enough to turn it into 13.
Not much for 9 to play with here. Looking4Org, looking for the closer, and they're getting closer to finding it. 3 more rounds to go. Secret being cleared up, and they're just going to storm their way into whatever pistols can really that they can really find. The damage may be viable for 9 if they can take any players with them. 3 casualties in the previous round, 3 casualties in this round could give you some money troubles if you can reset them. So keep your eyes on those upgrade pistols, and we'll see whether 9 can pull anything out of the hat, particularly against Lucky here.
I'm really liking the disciplined nature of this T-side default. It's so defensive right now. And yeah, okay, Lucky didn't see that player out towards roof. I think that's a locker smoke being lined up. Kylan could just get the jump onto a kill, but Lucky's still alive, and now that opportunity's gone.
Still try fight for him. Oh, what a flick straight to his head. Good night. Same story for this round as well. They're making the way to upper. 3 players in at mini, 4th man towards outside, going to get out of secret and be able to get this bomb down without much issue. I say that, and Kai is holding the ladder here. He's looking in through the vent gaps. Rarely see this from the CT side. He's missed his window against the bomb carrier. His teammates are starting to fall around him. Hades down. Goofy gets 1 pick outside. A lock is dealt with by Hadji. Now Kai and Jedka are the last 2 players that remain. The bomb should get planted. 10 seconds. Oh, Kai's been seen by Jocko. They check it in the end. The last player will fall.
Yeah, the issue is you never want to fire while you're on the ladder, do you? You want to make sure that you can at least pop the vent and then fight straight away. But you're almost hoping that you can get a bit of a crossfire, maybe a little bit of help from your teammate Goofy outside to get up to heaven. Not to be. 6 rounds to the difference right now. And it just feels across the board for 9, they haven't felt themselves like they were in map number 1. It hasn't looked comfortable here on Nuke. They've been tested individually, not getting star levels of impact. Even Kai down to 3 kills. We normally look at him as being one of the stronger riflers on the team.
Hades trying to see if he can make up for some of those numbers. Outside control of the forward contact man. It's Goofy the man that's really been going ham here for 9. Even he's behind the likes of Hadji and Lucky, the 2 top players for Looking4Org. One of which just went down. Goofy finding the middle of the smoke.
A very good pick to start it off. Oh, the spam bullets are getting ever so close. The NWP towards outside will not be baited. So Exercise is going to fall, and Looking4Org don't have much to work with other than ramp.
Try and dive down there, provide support from the 2nd and 3rd players in from the vents. But Jedka holds the corner angle. Mack gonna wrap that corner. Get found first and foremost. Jedka going for the aggressive swing and does pay for it with his life. Takes more damage, but Hadji is taking names. Doesn't quite take Kai's though. It's Jocko. Now the man to clutch it. 1 versus 3 for him, and the CTs are extremely close and closing in.
He wants to deal with Kai. Smoke off the double doors. Get a frag in there from observation. maybe even tapping the bomb. I mean, a stick is going to be so difficult with the spam.
Gets it anyway, but tagged up Heavy Kai there to close him down in the end. And 9 will have themselves a sick there for follow-up upon the Looking4Org side. They're first in the CT half, L4O. Do have money to play with, though, so they're going to go back in with another buy.
I'm a little bit surprised that Hadji actually stuck it all the way there, because, like you mentioned, there's heaps of cash. They didn't exactly need that bomb plant bonus. I thought trying to tap it and draw some further fights and keeping it more expensive on the CT line could have been the objective. There is a tactical timeout coming through, and I think one thing that's obviously a realization in that round was obviously the opening pick that got lost, and then the second one from the outside. So maybe realizing that they gave away too many opening man advantages without creating too much space is something that's going to be addressed coming forward.
It's the second tactical called in by Looking4Org. Nine. Have to face them on another buy. Have to face the full set of AKs. Facing in the back foot as well. 5 to make up, only 2 for the Frenchman to take it. Take us to Anubis. Let's see what change-ups will be made to the tactics here for the T half of things. Spread out default, mostly upstairs in lobby. No commitments just yet.
Kyler, we're waiting to see if there's going to be a peer around, a breakage in smoke, a slight pin in there from the door control. Exercise trying to work the outside by himself. The diag smoke, the flash up from Secret. Exercise could not deal with Kai.
Wasn't sure where to look. Worried about the gap generated by that nade as it started to fade up. He looked back at the wrong time. Advantage sits with 9. It's extending with the damage of the utility coming in against those boys. And nade from Lucky trying to look for Kyler, sees him, gets that spray, brings it back to even. Can they get Goofy? No! Goofy's going to line up 2, but Maka will get the trade. It's still favourable to 9, and Hades next to task. Or is he? Jedka in the backstab, dealt with by Lucky. He's also low. Is Kai being prepared for? No, he's not. It's Maka to clutch.
And Maka's on T-roof, and they've got full lobby control. Where is Maka? They must have thought that he was throwing util in from lobby. He can get outside, he can try and regain lobby. I like this from 9, play super defensive. Yes, they're not playing together, but they're not playing aggressive. They've got time on the clock. They can give the respect to Maka to get a plant here.
Upper or lower? Where does Maka want to go? Less than 30 seconds to decide it. Vent being considered, Mini being checked. The player in heaven have to be accounted for. Plant comes down on the upper site, will be heard there by Hades. How will Maka deal with him? His back is turned to the AWP for now. So focused on the back lanes, but now should realize that every angle is an angle of attack here for the 9 side. They're both going to come in from the same. Maka is going to try and flank them. The bomb's not planted for Heaven, though, so if they get on the defuse, they'll stick the whole damn thing. He's got to get one of these kills, and you've got to get it pretty quickly. On the rafters they are. Now up to the bomb site. Smoke down. Kit's in play. Maka's got to strike quick. He's going to strike quick. Going to look for Hades. Going to catch the player upstairs. He's just far too slow on this. He'll get both the kills, but he will not get the rounds.
I think Maka's played that to absolute perfection. You're absolutely right, though, Jay. It's not planted for him, but you have to look at that from his perspective. He's not seeing anything. He doesn't know, are they coming from lobby? Are they coming from Heaven? At least, if they don't stick it, I win that round. He knows themselves, if it gets tapped once, I've won that round. If they stick it, it's a done deal. It's one of those in-the-moment decisions, and unfortunately, it doesn't come through. It makes it expensive. Even this next rifle round coming through from 9, there's going to feature an MP9 for Kyler. There's still reset chance.
Look at Kai trying to aggress alongside Goofy. Got Exercise that's waiting for them. Utility was put out there from both sides. The smoke's in. Suppression held, and Exercise just waits. He holds his nerve for 9 to come to him.
So they're actually playing no one on A. They've got a Heaven rotate, they've got triple outside and 1 ramp. This is a really gimmicky rifle round setup from 9.
Will it catch Alpha O off guard? Will they be thrown off by this? Still a minute to play with, and Looking4Org are yet to truly act on a bomb site. Minute to go. They form up inside.
Oh, they've gone outside. An exercise has been dealt with, and Kai's seen nothing else. That's great info, because now they know it's either an inner take or a ramp take.
Advantage 9. Mac is so wary of the further push.
He's trying to set up smokes, but the problem is because they still maintained outside from Goofy, they still know that there's nothing outside.
Looking4Org going to have to make a move soon. Time of the essence. Hadji making a ton of noise as well, so they're aware that something's going on there in lobby. 2 players on the defense. Kai on it, Tetris. There's Kyler up on the rafters. Smoke's thrown. Molly set. Utility inbound for Looking4Org. Late set piece. Will it be enough? Lucky is caught. Jedka with that kill. Kyler's going to drop to Jocko, who doubles up, looks for the triple. Kai and Jedka still hold their nerve to the inner takers. And Hadji with the outside players way too late to do anything about this. 9 will get to 8. Looking4Org. Are they about to bottle this?
Well, you look at that round and think that was very creative coming through from 9, because one thing that obviously we didn't really see was the double Africa setup. Now, Kai gets the kill onto Exercise. He looks at the death cam, and he hears and sees Kai running away. So straight away, even when Maka does the outside util, because Goofy is still Africa, they know it can't be outside. It has to be an inner take, or it has to be a ramp take. And they're just being read. Read like an absolute book in that last round. Yes, it's a great double entry from Jocko, but it doesn't mean anything. There's so many players on A.
Now Looking4Org have issues with money. Talked about the reset potential for 9 of that previous round, which certainly would have won them the map on the Frenchman. But here and now, 9 can close the gap even further. Those nades to the diagonal smoke's actually going to be a ruse as Kai peeks ahead of the fast smoke. The near smoke was what was cleared up. The killer's found against one of the 3 AKs they have in play. The second one's been tagged heavily, as is Jedka.
Jedka just knows he has to fight here, because if a HE comes, he's done. Oh no, the HE misses, no way!
And the missed utility gives Hades a perfect line in to get a kill and hit the wall bang on Hadji as well! Oh my word! 9 starting to find another level here and Looking4Org are paying for it. 2v4. Where do you fight from this? You finally get Hades back, but you're pressing into Kai, who's so ready for you.
Oh, Jocko, he's done so much in this game already. He's done so much in this T side already. But this is another one of these rounds. You've got the bomb on your back. You can't go hell. You don't know if they've retaken lobby. Do you try and go down to the lower bomb site? You've got no util. You can't smoke anything off.
Goofy playing passive, knowing that Jocko has the pressure on him of the timer. He is on the site. He's got no utility. The best he can do is stick the plant and hope for the best. Tapping out Decon. Double doors opened up. Attention drawn away. A second tap for the swing and the kill. Now he's got to stick the full-blown plant. They're coming in very quickly. Kyler almost baited, but now stalling away from the time. The AWP shot misses, and Jocko has just got to try and stay alive as best he can. Up close to catch Kyler and turn on Kai for a very sick sequence. It's a shame that it just doesn't get the round.
You have to look at that, though, and say there's still reset potential. Like that's what's so fascinating about some of these rounds is, yes, they're being won by 9, but they are being won with very few players staying alive. This is another rifle investment with a lack of investment. You're going to have no AWP to come through from Hades, and MP9 down for Kai. Yes, they tried to get the casualty after time, but that round's actually really hurt them on the hunt in the end.
Only upgrade pistols for Looking4Org, so they might lose out this reset chance against 9, who are looking for the lobby crunch right here. Lucky's going to read it, recognize now that they are going to have all sorts of map control above them.
They were so late to buy. They were so late to get out of spawn, and now it just means they either need to regain lobby control or work outside, because it's just been completely taken.
They are all bunched up here outside of spawn. No lobby presence. Only now is someone trying to look towards that outside position in Jocko, his AK, hoping for a pick or two. Very little is seen of 9, though. A minute on the clock.
Now, LFO just need to slow this round down completely. This HE could do quite a bit of damage when the smoke clears.
Lands on Hadji as he gets away from it. The about as far as it can go for now. Looking4Org have to gain this part of the map. Are they seeing the gun barrel of Kyler? I think they are. Jedka is wary of it. Hadji's going to try to take this corner, and Jedka's going to win the fight, not the second. Kyler's there to trade against the AK-47. Exercise back to the P250. Goofy comes up with his pick of the rounds. Backs off towards the site defensive because time is of the essence for Alpha O.
Now, there's at least a couple of rifles to work with. Molly bounces out there towards the closed vent corner. They need to deal with Goofy on A.
Lash turned away from Exercise, and Molotov sent up towards Heaven, but the player on the bomb site itself is going to be the concern, as is the SMG in the rafters. Kai closing in against Exercise. He can't hold on forever. 10 to the board of 9, Looking4Org. Their lead has been closed up to a single round in the deficit. They held on to their money. They'll have a buy here. This might have to be where they do it.
This has been 5 in a row for 9. And again, we can keep hyping on the opportunity of that reset, that opportunity of the double eco for your opposition. But it's still 5 in a row. It's still 5 very strong rounds from 9 to claw their way back into this second half. Another tactical to come through from Looking4Org. Because again, it's felt close. It's felt like there's been opportunities again in the late round situations. I mean, the issue is here, even though the money in the reserve is low, this is probably the best rifle round investment we've seen from 9 in a while, right? Because think about previous rounds. There's been like Kai on an MP9, or there's been Kyler on an MP9, or even Hades has been down on an M4 rather than an AWP. This time around, you've got full util sets, you've pretty much got kits on 2, you've got an amazing amount of rifles to work with, and that AK for Kai too.
This will have to be the round for Looking4Org. Back pockets of 9 will have no income and no savings. They could still win this at 13 to 10, but it all rests on whether round 22 goes their way. If not, 9 will at least get match points. They're going in quick, at least as quick as you can be ahead of the smoke, and Goofy with his blind spray reads Hadji well. Jedka catches Lucky downstairs. And it's all falling apart at the seams for Looking4Org. 9, a 5-on-3, making it 2.
Oh, they're crumbling. They're falling apart. The bomb tried to go in for the vent dive, and it can't even get out a door. Jocko's been seen. No one's even really taken damage. What an unbelievable round this has been from 9. Everyone alive. How many AKs can they get? 1, 2, 3. Not quite one onto Kyler, but I don't think that matters. No bomb plant. No real attempt at being able to make that round being a threat. 9 are clawing in this comeback right now.
How surprising has this turned out? Looking4Org not immune from the comebacks of their opponents. And they're forcing into round 23. They're going to try end it in regulation. They do not want to play overtime.
And remember, Jay, they were 3 for 3 in tax. They don't have another one to use for a round like this.
Have one in the OT if they can get there, but the situation still dire. Look at Kyler. Look at how close he is. Lucky has no inkling of the man in the corner. Mac is wary of it, so he'll tap his way forward. Lucky does manage to find a pick. There's Goofy down. Are they aware of the player in the corner? Not yet. Kyler gets a pick and finally is overwhelmed by the T-side forces. Kai is low, looking to engage. Exercise his scout, can finally take him back. And at long last, Looking4Org have an advantage.
Oh, this looks like the steal. Hades towards outside, needs to deal with the dig, and he's seen him on the jiggle, but it goes both ways.
Jocko just backs off. No sense in taking that fight. Where is Jedka in all of this? He's up in the rafters. The T's don't know. And Hades been baked right out into the open. Exercise lands a shot. Hades cannot get the kill. And Exercise's second face will close out on the AWPer. Now it's up to Jedka, who's hoping they hit the A bomb site, but that's the only way that he wins this round. The bomb is downstairs, though. Exercise has snuck past. This will be a plant, and this will not be a retake.
Jedka's got to hope he holds on to this AK to at least bring that forward into the next round. What a round from Exercise. He's got 2 kills with a scout outside. That was a real chaotic round, and you could feel it in there from the door control. I mean, Lucky, I'm not really sure how he was able just to walk out main to A like that, undetected completely.
He has now. One more player out towards Heaven. Hadji gets him. Free AK, not like you need it. 9 needed it. They will go in for the investment that they can get out of this last round of regulation. Looking4Org, looking for map 3. And they are on for one more round to get it.
I can't believe that's the round to get map point. How incredible is that? That's not even the force buy, it's not even the rifle round, it's the light upgraded eco to try and get as much out of it as possible. Tactical timeout coming through from 9. They've worked so hard to bring this back. The idea that you were down at the turn of the half, then you lost pistol, you lost anti-eco, you lost first rifle round. I mean, they didn't have many, I suppose, opportunities to at least start in the second half. It was pretty much once they were up against everything being over was when we started seeing rounds come in.
They'll get all guns, no expense spared, no limitations on the weaponry, at least for 9, certainly for the utility basis. Have the smokes on all 5, have the incendiaries on 2, 1 HE, and no flashbangs for the CT forces. Heaps of them are for Looking4Org, who are going in fast for an engagement out towards ramp initially. They're looking to press on, but Haji's part of things. Might see some pressure against Jedka. Engagement towards outside as well for Exercise. Looks for his pick in, gets it. Damaged up on towards Hades, who does turn his orb into a frag, but it's a 2-for-1 trade that favors Looking4Org here.
Jocko's got ramp, and Kyla, if he loses this fight, this could be round over.
Jocko gets it. Goofy, last man standing as Hades is found on the lower bomb site. And Looking4Org have finally closed. 9 were bringing home the comeback, but the Frenchmen stand tall here on Nuke. Goofy will try to go out in a blaze, but it's a blaze that will burn up very quickly. In the utility center's direction, he can swap to the AK. He's got to try this because he has no other choice. But now Lucky's in position, and Goofy is a dead man to Maka. 13-11, 1-1 of the series. Looking4Org are taking us to Anubis.
Just a crazy outcome completely. 11-5, 11-11, 13-11. I don't know what to say about that one. I think for 9, they'll be a little bit disappointed in themselves. They had an unbelievable streak.